The signal from Sector 19. The bridge of the Valiant Dawn hummed with the quiet efficiency of a well-oiled machine. Captain Elena Vasquez stood at the center of the command deck, her dark eyes scanning the holographic displays that floated in the air before her. Stars streaked past the viewports as the ship cut through the black void of space at near light speed. Around her, the crew moved with practiced precision, their fingers dancing across touchscreens and haptic interfaces. "Captain, we're receiving an anomalous signal from Sector 19, Lieutenant Chen called out from the communications station. His voice carried a note of concern that made Elena's spine straighten. In 12 years of deep space exploration, she had learned that anomalies were rarely good news. "What kind of signal?" Elena asked, moving toward Chen's station with deliberate steps. Her boots made soft clicks against the metallic floor. Chen's fingers moved rapidly across his console, pulling up waveform analyses and spectral data. "It's definitely artificial, ma'am. The pattern is too regular to be natural. But here's the strange part, it's old. Very old. The encryption protocols match nothing in our database, but the mathematical structure suggests it predates the United Earth Coalition by at least 5 centuries. Elena felt her heartbeat quicken. 5 centuries. That would place the signal's origin during humanity's first fumbling steps into interstellar space, long before faster-than-light travel had been perfected. "Play it," she ordered. The bridge speakers crackled to life with a sound that sent chills down Elena's spine. It wasn't a voice, not exactly. It was a series of tones, rising and falling in complex harmonics that seemed to bypass her ears and speak directly to something deeper in her brain. The pattern repeated 3 times, then fell silent. "Analysis?" Elena asked, her voice steady despite the unease crawling through her chest. "The signal originates from a planetary system approximately 40 light-years from our current position," said Commander James Wright, her second-in-office. The tall, broad-shouldered man stood at the tactical station, his face illuminated by the red glow of the threat assessment screens. No recorded human presence in that system. No colonies, no research stations, nothing. Could it be a probe? Elena mused aloud. Something we sent out during the early expansion era and forgot about? Chen shook his head. "I don't think so, Captain. The signal's power output is too strong for a probe. We're talking about something with a significant energy source. And there's something else." He paused, his expression troubled. "The signal is adapting. Every few minutes, it shifts frequency slightly, as if it's trying to find a wavelength we can understand." Elena exchanged glances with Wright. An adaptive signal meant intelligence. It meant someone or something was actively trying to communicate. "How long until we can reach that system?" Wright consulted his navigation charts. "At our current speed, approximately 18 hours. But Captain, I should remind you that we're on a scheduled supply run to the Kepler station. We're expected in 72 hours. Kepler station can wait," Elena said firmly. "This could be first contact. Or it could be a distress signal from a lost human expedition. Either way, we have a duty to investigate." She turned to address the entire bridge crew. "All hands, prepare for course correction. Set destination for Sector 19, maximum sustainable speed. I want constant monitoring of that signal. If it changes in any way, I want to know immediately." The crew responded with a chorus of acknowledgements. Elena felt the subtle shift in the ship's momentum as the massive engines redirected their thrust. Through the viewport, the stars wheeled as the Valiant Dawn changed course. "Commander Wright, I want a full tactical analysis of the system before we arrive," Elena continued. "Assume hostile intent until proven otherwise. Have weapon systems on standby and shields ready to deploy at a moment's notice." "Aye, Captain," Wright replied, his fingers already moving across his console. Elena returned to her command chair, settling into the worn leather with a sense of foreboding she couldn't quite shake. The signal played again through the speakers, that same haunting sequence of tones. She closed her eyes and listened, trying to find meaning in the alien sounds. Hours passed in tense anticipation. The crew worked in shifts, maintaining constant vigilance as the ship raced toward the unknown. Elena remained on the bridge, sustained by strong coffee and the electric anticipation that came with potential discovery. She had joined the exploratory fleet for moments like this, for the chance to be the first human to make contact with something beyond their small corner of the galaxy. "Captain, I'm picking up visual data now," Chen announced as they approached the system. "The signal is coming from the third planet. I'm putting it on the main screen." The holographic display at the center of the bridge flickered to life, showing a blue-green world that bore a striking resemblance to Earth. Clouds swirled across its surface in familiar patterns. Continents stretched across azure oceans. But there was something wrong about it, something that made Elena lean forward in her chair. "Those landmasses," she said slowly. "They're not natural formations. Look at the geometric patterns." Wright enhanced the image, and gasps echoed across the bridge. The continents weren't continents at all. They were structures, massive, planet-spanning constructions that rose from the oceans like the fossilized bones of ancient giants. Cities, perhaps, or something beyond human comprehension. And all of it was abandoned, silent, dead. "My God," Chen whispered. "Someone built that. Someone built an entire planet." Elena stood, her hands gripping the armrests of her chair. "Can you determine age?" Chen worked frantically at his console. "Based on erosion patterns and atmospheric data. Captain, those structures are at least 10,000 years old. Maybe older. Whatever civilization built this, they're long gone." The signal played again, louder now, more insistent. Elena realized with a start that it was coming from the surface of the planet, from deep within one of those massive structures. It was a beacon, she understood suddenly. A lighthouse left behind by a dead civilization, calling out into the void. "Prepare a landing team," Elena ordered. "Full protective gear, heavy weapons, scientific equipment. We're going down there." "Captain, is that wise?" Wright asked cautiously. "We have no idea what we might find. There could be biological hazards, unstable structures, automated defenses." "I know the risks, Commander," Elena interrupted. "But we didn't come all this way to turn back now. Besides, that signal is trying to tell us something. I intend to find out what." She turned to face her crew, seeing her own mixture of fear and excitement reflected in their faces. "This is why we're out here. This is what exploration means. We document, we learn, we bring knowledge back to humanity. Prepare the shuttle. We launch in 1 hour." As the crew scrambled to prepare, Elena stood at the viewport, staring down at the mysterious world below. Somewhere on that planet was an answer to a question humanity had been asking since they first looked up at the stars: are we alone? And if the answer was no, what happened to those who came before? The signal played one more time, and Elena felt in her bones that nothing would ever be the same again. Descent into the unknown. The shuttle descended through the planet's atmosphere with a roar that echoed through the passenger compartment. Captain Elena Vasquez sat strapped into her seat, watching the viewport as clouds parted to reveal the impossible landscape below. Beside her, Commander Wright gripped his armrest with white knuckles, while the rest of the landing team, 6 specialists hand-picked for their expertise, checked their equipment one final time. "Atmospheric composition is breathable, Captain," reported Dr. Sarah Kim, the team's xenobiologist. The young woman's eyes were fixed on her handheld scanner, her expression a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "Oxygen levels at 21%, nitrogen at 78%. It's almost identical to Earth. Temperature at the landing site is 22 degrees Celsius. Too convenient," Wright muttered. "A planet perfectly suited for human life, with structures that predate our civilization by thousands of years. This doesn't feel right." Elena understood his concern. In all their years of exploration, humanity had discovered dozens of worlds with basic microbial life, 3 with complex ecosystems, but never anything like this. Never ruins. Never evidence of technological civilization beyond their own. The shuttle banked sharply as it approached the landing coordinates, a massive plaza situated at the base of one of the towering structures. Through the viewport, Elena could see the scale of the construction. The building rose at least 3 kilometers into the sky, its surface covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and shimmer in the sunlight. It was shaped like a pyramid, but with impossible angles that hurt to look at directly, as if the structure existed in more dimensions than human eyes could perceive. "Look at the ground," said Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez, the team's engineer. He pointed to the plaza below. "Those aren't tiles or stone. That's some kind of metal alloy, and after 10,000 years, there's no corrosion, no weathering. Whatever they built this from, it's more advanced than anything we have." The shuttle touched down with a gentle thud. For a moment, nobody moved. They simply sat in silence, staring out at the alien landscape. The plaza stretched for kilometers in every direction, perfectly flat and featureless except for the massive structure at its center. "All right, people," Elena said, unbuckling her harness and standing. "You know the drill. Stay together, maintain communication at all times, and document everything. If anything feels wrong, we return to the shuttle immediately. Is that understood?" A chorus of acknowledgments answered her. The team gathered their equipment, scanning devices, sample collectors, weapons, and recording drones, and moved toward the airlock. Elena took a deep breath, feeling her heart hammer in her chest. This was the moment she had dreamed of since childhood, when she first looked up at the stars and wondered what lay beyond. The airlock hissed open, and she stepped onto the surface of an alien world. The first thing that struck her was the silence. No wind, no animal sounds, no rustle of vegetation. Just absolute, oppressive quiet broken only by the sound of their boots against the metallic ground. The air tasted clean, almost sterile, with a faint metallic tang that reminded her of ozone after a thunderstorm. "Deploy the drones," Elena ordered. Rodriguez activated the small flying devices, which shot into the air with a soft whir, their cameras capturing every angle of the plaza and the structure beyond. Dr. Kim knelt and pressed her scanner against the ground. "I'm not picking up any biological signatures," she reported. "No bacteria, no fungi, no microorganisms of any kind. This planet is sterile." "How is that possible?" Wright asked. "Even the most hostile environments in our galaxy have some form of microbial life." "I don't know," Kim admitted. "It's as if something deliberately sterilized the entire biosphere." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. She looked up at the massive structure looming before them, its surface reflecting the sun in ways that seemed geometrically impossible. The signal they had detected was coming from deep inside that building, she knew. Whatever answers existed, they would find them there. "Let's move," she said, leading the team across the plaza. As they walked, Elena noticed something odd about their shadows. They were wrong somehow, cast at angles that didn't match the position of the sun. When she pointed this out, Rodriguez pulled out his instruments and frowned. "The light here doesn't behave normally," he said, taking measurements. "It's being bent, refracted through space itself. Captain, I think this entire structure is generating some kind of spatial distortion field. That's why the angles look wrong, they actually are wrong from a three-dimensional perspective." They reached the entrance to the structure, a massive archway that stretched 30 meters high. No door blocked their path, just an opening that led into darkness. Elena activated her helmet light, and the rest of the team did the same. 6 beams of white light cut through the gloom, revealing a corridor that stretched impossibly far into the distance. "The signal is stronger here," reported Lieutenant Chen, who had accompanied the landing party. "I'm picking up electromagnetic fluctuations. Whatever is generating the beacon, it's deep inside." Elena stepped through the archway. The moment she crossed the threshold, the quality of sound changed. The oppressive silence of the plaza was replaced by a low hum that she felt more than heard, a vibration that resonated in her bones. The walls of the corridor were covered in symbols, thousands upon thousands of glyphs arranged in complex patterns that seemed to tell a story. Dr. Rachel Foster, the team's linguist, immediately began photographing the symbols with her equipment. "This is incredible," she breathed. "I've never seen anything like this. The syntax, the structure, it's not like any human language, but there's a mathematical logic to it. Give me time, and I might be able to crack it." They moved deeper into the structure, their lights casting long shadows on the walls. The corridor branched occasionally, leading to vast chambers filled with incomprehensible machinery. Everything was covered in dust, undisturbed for millennia, yet somehow still functional. Lights flickered to life as they passed, responding to their presence with an eerie awareness. "This place knows we're here," Wright said quietly, his hand resting on his sidearm. Elena couldn't argue. There was a sense of being watched, of intelligence lurking in the shadows. Not hostile, exactly, but evaluating. Measuring. Waiting. After what felt like hours of walking, though Elena's chronometer insisted it had been only 20 minutes, they reached a massive circular chamber. In the center stood a pillar of light, a column of pure energy that extended from floor to ceiling. The beacon. The source of the signal that had drawn them across light years of space. "My God," Chen whispered. "The power output from that thing is off the charts. It's drawing energy from I don't even know what. Some kind of zero-point field, maybe. Vacuum energy. It could run for millions of years without depleting." Elena approached the pillar slowly, her scanner extended. As she drew closer, the signal changed. The pattern of tones became more complex, more urgent. And then, impossibly, words formed in her mind, not heard, but understood on some fundamental level that bypassed language entirely. "Welcome, children of Earth," the voice said, ancient and vast. "We have been waiting." Elena froze. Behind her, she heard gasps of shock from her team. They had all heard it, felt it, that impossible communication. "Who are you?" Elena asked aloud, her voice barely above a whisper. The pillar pulsed with light, and images flooded her mind. A civilization that had spanned 1,000 worlds. Beings of incredible intelligence and power who had mapped the galaxy and reached out to the stars with joy and wonder. And then, disaster. A threat from beyond, something vast and incomprehensible that had swept through their empire like a plague, destroying everything in its path. "We were the architects," the voice continued. "We built wonders that defied physics itself. We sought knowledge, peace, unity. But we were not alone in the universe, and not all who dwell among the stars share our values. The devourers came, and we fell. But before the end, we left this message for those who would come after." Elena's hands trembled. "Why us? Why contact humanity?" "Because you are young," the voice replied. "Because you still have time to prepare. The devourers sleep now, sated by their conquest of our civilization. But they will wake again. They will come for you, as they came for us. This beacon is a warning. This structure is a library, containing all our knowledge, all our technology. Learn from our mistakes. Grow strong. When the devourers wake, you must be ready." The images faded, and Elena found herself on her knees, tears streaming down her face. Around her, the rest of the team stood in stunned silence, processing the revelation. Humanity was not alone. Had never been alone. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, an ancient evil slumbered, waiting to consume everything they held dear. "How long?" Elena asked hoarsely. "How long until they wake?" "Time is fluid," the voice responded. "Perhaps centuries. Perhaps only years. But they will come. This is certain." Elena stood, wiping her eyes. She looked at her team, saw the fear and determination reflected in their faces. They had come seeking answers and had found something far more terrifying, a purpose. Download everything, she ordered. Every piece of data, every technical specification, every scrap of knowledge. We're taking it all back to Earth. As the team scrambled to comply, Elena stared at the pillar of light, understanding with terrible clarity that nothing would ever be the same.